Kravitz. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Hello and welcome to episode 280 of the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your host, Howard Kravitz. Good morning, everyone, as we are having a special show due to our schedule as I am live in Saratoga Springs, New York at my current home. Of course, I'll be moving to a different home later today to join the rest of the Bettin' and Boozin' and HHH Racing Podcast crew. Thanks for joining us this morning. Please make sure you subscribe on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. After you do that, hit that notification bell and smash, and I mean smash, that like button. That'll help send everyone here to the HHH Racing Podcast. Now, the technology today is going to be a little bit different, so you're going to have to bear with me, folks. If things are not working as smoothly as they are, I'm on my iPad. I'm obviously not on a personal computer here. We're going to think some things are going to be a little bit different, but the great analysis and humor of a Paul Halloran will still be the same. So hopefully you're going to be enjoying that. I know there's a bit of an echo. The sound is not ideal. I could not use my, again, normal technology. We apologize in advance for any tech issues, but hopefully you'll be enjoying the show just as well. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, of course. We also have fantastic power picks that you're well aware of. Look below the video player for the information. We have Saratoga-only power picks, which are going to be available through tonight, midnight, if you want this weekend's Saratoga power picks. We also have a great website, of course, hhhracingpodcast.com. You should check that out. All right, because we got a lot to talk to, without further ado, we're going to jump right in. And again, any tech issues in advance, we apologize. Let me bring in my fantastic co-host from the Saratoga Special. I almost wore the Saratoga Special hat. I'm going to save that for the track. He's done a great job. It's a big week for Paul personally, with CODY'S WISH in town and the Dorman family as well. Let's bring him on, the pride of Massachusetts and the Saratoga Special, Mr. Paul Halloran. Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Howard.
How are you, sir? They got a lovely backdrop there. Looks like from a greenhouse or something you're filming.
Yeah, I am out on the screened-in porch here over on the whatever side of town I'm on, a couple of miles from the track, and couldn't be better.
I don't know what side I'm on. I'm just happy to be here. That's all that matters. Paul, we can talk for an hour about my trip so far this week and your trip. I got here last Saturday. Had a winner and certified lover boy on Sunday. One of the highlights of my life, frankly. Had a chance to go to the winner's circle. But Paul, we got a lot to talk to, and we're here to talk about the Saturday late pick 5 on Whitney Day. And the card is fantastic. The weather Saturday is going to be absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, it looks like there's a good chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, Friday. We're hoping all the turf races are going to be on the turf. I would imagine, Paul, that all the stake turf races will stay on the turf unless something very bizarre happens, because the weather Saturday will be fine. I think it's fair to say the non-stake races on the turf Saturday may be off. We'll see what the weather's like tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah, the Saturday weather is going to be good. Tomorrow, it's just a question of how bad tomorrow is going to be and what the residual is. I actually have a horse running in the last race Saturday who will very likely not run if it's not on turf. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Let's toot that. Well, let's real quick. Let's tout for 1 second. I've got a horse that I co-own that is running today, Thursday, race 5. The horse's name is Gem Mint 10, the number 5 horse. 6-1 morning line has a real shot. Don't put your mortgage on this horse, but Gem Mint 10, race 5 for Adelphi Racing should show some early speed and get a nice trip, and hopefully he's good enough. And your horse is Dracone. In which race is that Saturday, Paul?
You got to be a diehard. Number 12 of 12 at 6:48 p.m.
There you go. It's the last race on Saturday. Cheer for Paul with Dracone. All right, Paul, let's jump right in. The first thing now, again, and the technology is a little bit different here. We're not going to be able to show everyone at home the Equibase entries or the past performances. I greatly apologize to everyone. It's still absolutely worth doing the show. So I'm sure, Paul, hopefully you have your PPs available there right next to you because we're not seeing them on the screen. Of course, I do also. If you're watching this live, thank you very much. Again, we're probably not going to be able to bring up a lot of comments, but please do comment in the chat. Let's see what comments. Let me take the scroll off the screen. Let's see who we got here real quick. Oh, look who's here. Pete Visco. Pete, what's up, buddy? We cannot wait to see you tonight. Tell the Saratoga people to man up and run on off turf. Yes, we agree, Pete. I think it'll be fine. It's been beautiful this week in general. Vale Place is here. Good luck to yourself and myself, Paul. Tom Espinoza. Wow, 6:15 a.m. in San Francisco. But Tom is here. That a boy, Tom. Way to go. We got TC Markham is here. The last thing we should say, this is very important before we start handicapping. We are going to have a meet and greet. Anyone that's here at the track in Saratoga Springs area, everyone from the HHH Racing Podcast, myself, Paul, Pete, Kyle Roscoe, and Patrick Kunzel from Bet and Booze, and Charlie Freeman unfortunately can't be here. But the 5 of us will be here live. We're going to have a meet and greet 12:30 to 1:15. Again, 12:30 to 1:15 on Friday at the track in the Jim Dandy Bar. Is that correct, Paul? The Jim Dandy Bar, which is on the first floor, pretty much right when you walk in. If you're facing the entrances, it'll be furthest to the right. It's closer to the 1863 Club, if you know where that is, or closer to the paddock area. But again, it's in the grandstand or the main body of the building. On the right side as you face the building. It's called the Jim Dandy Bar. 12:30, 1:15 Friday. Correct, Paul?
That sounds good.
Okay, there you go. All right, let's get into Sylvania's here. Good morning. Again, we're not going to be showing PPs, everyone, so take a look at your PPs or take some notes. I do have banners ready to go for our picks, so we do have that. And speaking of which, actually, we're not going to put banners up yet. Very quick, the late pick 5 starts in race 8 on Saturday, Paul. But race 6 is the Troy with Caravel. Your quick thoughts and your top 3, if you have it, for the Troy race 6 on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's Saratoga, the graveyard of champions. I get it. But I would say if Caravel stays on her feet, there's a good chance she wins this race. I don't see anyone. I mean, this is a grade 2. She's coming off 5 straight wins, 2 of the grade 1s, the Shaker Town, a grade 2. She just continues to run the males off their feet, and I suspect it'll be more of the same in this race on Saturday.
There are some serious speeds for her to deal with. Our wonderful No Balls, one of our favorite horses, the 7, who's 7-2. I mean, here's my opinion in general, Paul. I'm going with an upset, by the way. I'm going 8-4-7. I think the number 8, Remuda, is a very interesting progressive 4-year-old for Owen Hardy. I know that was Laurel last time. I know this is a big step up in class. You look fantastic. I love unexposed 4-year-olds. This is for Godolphin. I think you know the connections well, Paul. They're here for a reason. If Caravel stubs her foot a little bit, her hoof, or there's a lot of speed involved, I don't know. I thought Remuda was a little bit interesting. The number 8.
I agree. I think interesting is the word I would use. I looked at this horse and probably would be my second choice in the race for the same reasons. Had a huge jump up in Bayer last race, getting back on the turf. 2 for 2 on turf. He's won going long on turf. He's won sprinting on turf. So yes, I think that's a valid point.
And again, Paul, to me, it's a lot about intent. Godolphin's not going to send a horse here on Whitney Day that doesn't have a chance. So I'm interested. 10-1 morning line. Let's go to the next, the other race that I want to talk about before the pick 5. This is a really tough and nice turf race. It's the Lure. It's a restricted listed stake, $135,000 on the inner turf. This is for males going, I believe, mile and the 16th. This is race 7 on Saturday, Paul. Who'd you like in the lure?
Well, I'm going to give Speaking Scout another shot. I agree with you. I think this is a little, well, certainly more of a spread race than the last race. I played Speaking Scout in the Monmouth race. Ran okay, not great. Obviously, a huge jockey upgrade to Pratt. You got to deal with the Chad Brown horse on the rail, coming off 2 straight wins and 2 mid-90 buyers, but I'm gonna take a shot with Grand Motion here and Speaking Scout.
Okay, and what's the number there, Paul?
5.
Okay,
I would go 5-1.
I was Speaking Scout second. We're thinking similarly. I've got 1-5-3. I like Portfolio Company from the rail. What I really do like, Paul, and I hope I'm wrong, and you never the hell know up here, but again, last Saturday they said there was like a 90% of thunderstorms, and it happened. It was pretty bad. Tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be an all-day thing, but it doesn't look good. Portfolio Company, the one, did win on yielding last time. I think you want to check out horses that might be able to win on softer turf. I'm going 1-5-3. I agree. Speaking Scout, the 5 horse is very interesting. Speaking Scout is 9-2. There's also a Euro in the race. I'm sorry, there's a bunch of Euros running this weekend. I'm curious to see how they're going to do. But I don't have the 6 in my top 3. All right, Paul, let's get to it, buddy. Here we go. The late pick 5 on Whitney Day, Saturday, and whoa. We start with 3 unbelievable graded stakes and then 2 nice allowance races. Let's hop right to it. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the banners also for our top picks here. Give me a moment, and they should. There we go. Okay, technology working okay so far, Paul. All right, here we go. We're going to go race 8. This is the test, and it is a real test. Do you have sound in the background, by the way, Paul? Is that you? I hear a lot of sound in the background, Paul.
Yeah, unfortunately, Howard.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
it's someone's cutting lawn or something. I'll put it on mute when I'm not talking.
Paul, will you please walk over to your neighbor and say, didn't you inform your neighbors we got a show to do here? What the hell? All right, anyway, no problem, Paul. It's fine. We'll deal with it. Yeah, just go ahead and mute until it's your time to talk or once the landscaping is finished. Listen, we're live, folks. This is real stuff. We're not making this up. The test, a grade 1. It's for the girls. 7 furlongs, restricted 3-year-olds. One of the best sprint races of the year for the boys or girls, any other age. You see our picks on the bottom of the screen. Paul, you're going with the Oaks champion. Pretty mischievous. 9-5 morning line has won 2 in a row, including last time in the Acorn. Hit it.
Yeah, well, this is a very good race, and Brendan Walsh was talking right after the Oaks about, potentially cutting back this horse down the line. Remember, they have Wet Paint, who just won the CCA Oaks as a female turf rooter. So, the one not ideal at 7, but, Maple Leaf Mel, whom I am a huge fan of. The good news is she draws outside. The bad news is Money's Gold immediately to her inside is very, very fast. And there is the potential. She has gotten to relatively easy leads, as you have well documented, Howard. There is the potential for her to really have to work early. I think if Tyler can get this one a trip, he does what he's done the last few races and just comes along late and picks them all up. But I like both horses a lot. I think Maple Leaf Mel could be compromised by the presence of Money's Gold.
Vale Place, just to answer your question, will HHH send out Saturday picks for Saturday card? Yes. If you are a regular Power Pick subscriber, the late pick 5 will be part of the Power Pick tip sheet. If you are a Saratoga only Power Pick subscriber, you'll get the entire cards, grid, and information. In fact, I just finished it this morning, Paul, the Saturday Saratoga Power Picks. Now I got to work on the Saturday regular Power Picks. But yes, Vale Place, we will. Paul, I've been waiting for this spot for a long time. Maple Leaf Mel has been better than I thought. She is really good. This is a serious, forget the New York bred part. She's just a serious filly. She's really fast. Remind me a little bit of Echo Zulu when she was like a 3-year-old. I mean, she's really good. However, she's been getting away with, I won't say slow fractions, but comfortable fractions. Doesn't Money's Gold, as you mentioned, Paul, have to go? I mean, there's no possible way that these trainers of the other horses are looking at Maple Leaf Mel and saying, oh, we'll just let her go and come over the top. The problem here, Paul, is if you go after Maple Leaf Mel, you might be compromising yourself. But in a grade 1, don't you just have to take a chance? And if you're a speed horse, you got to go. And maybe Maple Leaf Mel isn't good enough or doesn't break or doesn't. This is 7 furlongs also. So I'm looking to beat Maple Leaf Mel. Maybe she's going to stuff me in a locker again. I'm very interested in Dorth Vader. Dorth Vader is 6-1, the number 6 horse. I thought she ran great in the Acorn, just losing to Pretty Mischievous. She did get a good trip, but Paul, I talked about this with Cal Roscoe. Trainer changed to George Weaver before the Acorn, and they are purposely trying to teach Dorth Vader, who is mainly speed, to rate. They've done a great job teaching her to rate. And I don't know if you saw the work tab, but the work tab is fantastic. She is training unbelievably. Of course, I don't have the workout report, but on paper, she's training great. I hope she stalks the beat and speed and upsets the field, Paul. I'm going 6-1-8. I respect the inside and outside horses. I'm going for an upset. Final thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think there's a good chance that she does stalk and perhaps even take over the lead at some point, and then she's just going to help. It all depends on the trip. Because if the 1 is clear in the stretch, she will catch her.
I'm not going to disagree.
Humble.
The rail, we talked about this. CODY'S WISH was able to overcome the rail in the Met Mile, but the rail is just tricky anywhere, and I don't like the rail for Pretty Mischievous. That being said, she's obviously good enough. It's going to be a great race, Paul. Who do you think will be favored, by the way? Maple Leaf Mel or Pretty Mischievous? Maple Leaf
That's
Mel's
a very
got that
good
Paul Parcells in New York angle going.
You got the local angle, but I think off the what is it? 4 out of 5, and because of the grade 1 Oaks and grade 1 Acorn, I would say Pretty Mischievous would be the favorite.
Okay, and Pete Visco puts in his 2 thoughts. He likes He likes Dorth Vader also, and he's tossing. Whoa, Pete's Maple Leaf Mel. You know why he's tossing Maple Leaf Mel? She's not Italian name, so clearly he's okay with just tossing that one. But anyway, all right, Pete, I like your picks there. Let's go on to the next race. And again, if you're just joining us, you're wondering, Howard, where is the past performances? Where's the entries? I'm on my iPad, guys. I don't have my laptop with me or my PC. We have different technology here. We greatly apologize. We're not going to be able to show you the PPs. You guys have the PPs at home. You can look at them, but hopefully hearing us is enough. Let's go on to the next race, race 9. Race 9 is the grade 1. You see our picks on the bottom of the screen. The grade 1 Saratoga Derby Invitational Stakes. It's 1 mile and 3/16, just short of 1.25 miles. Restricted 3-year-olds. It's for the boys. It's a pretty big field. They ran a similar race to this called the Belmont Derby last month, where a horse named Farbridge won. Farbridge is back again, along with many others. You see our picks on the bottom. Paul's going to go with the number 5. The number 5 is Farbridge at 2-1. He got an unbelievable trip last time. He won at 7-2. He was a power pick spot play for yours truly. I really liked him last time. You see, I don't like him as much this time. Paul, you're going back to Farbridge in the Saratoga Derby Invitational.
Yeah, and you're not going to believe this, Howard, but the landscaper has now come into this. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
The landscaper is now in my backyard, so I'm going to have to move inside here. Give me a minute.
Want me to take you off the screen?
Yeah, Howard, I think. No, just hold on.
All right. So as Paul makes some adjustments here, let me talk about that's a lovely greenhouse. All right, I like that. All right, as Paul's moving, I love live. You gotta love live TV here, so to speak. All right, I feel bad for Paul. Anyway, let me talk about my top pick. I'm going with program training. Program Trading, the number 2, is a Chad Brown horse who has done nothing wrong. This horse is 2 for 2. You can see that on your own PPs at home. This is a monster step up in class for sure. And it's also a step up in distance. But this horse is sired by a horse named Loop de Vega, who is a nice Euro out of an Oasis Dream mare. The distance ideally should not be a problem. And Chad is picking a very aggressive spot here. What I like most about Program Trading is not only the way that he has won, but by several lengths, but it looks like distance is going to be good. And also he's got tactical speed. There's not a lot of tactical early speed in this race. I think Flavian's going to put this horse in the game. Chad Brown could pick many other spots for this horse. He goes here with this one. It's a very aggressive placing. And I think for once you might actually get an okay price on a Chad. I would never take anything lower than probably that 3-1 because there's some question marks here with class and distance. Paul, I love visually what I've seen from Program Trading. And I don't think Farbrid and some of these others are like superstars. I'm going to go with a little bit of an upset with the Chad. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a very valid pick. I agree with everything you said, which will not often be the case. But I think that it is an aggressive spot. I mean, it's a 3-year-old race, and this looks like a horse that Seth Klarman bought. Chad is pretty aggressive in buying horses overseas. This Lope de Vega, you talked about the breeding. I think on an ABC grid, because it's Chad, even if you don't love the horse, based on potential on my grid, he's going to have to be an A, just for that reason. He's not my top pick, but I think you definitely have to respect Chad. The only concern, don't be so sure about the price, because it's Chad, it's Pratt, that's Tom Espinoza. This is great. Yeah. Yes,
sorry,
Tom.
I'm not looking at the comments. Usually I can see the comments. I'd have to switch a few.
Tom says a new show idea: landscaping and handicapping. Landscaping and handicapping with Paul Allen.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I'm inside now. I'm good.
Paul, I want to very quickly talk about the 8. I'm guessing with Line of War, I think there's 3 Euros in this race, or is it 2? I'm trying to remember now. There's 3. There's 3 Euros in here. One is already running in the States. Line of War, I'm guessing. I like Oisin Murphy. This horse looks to be classy enough. And most importantly, has run on softer turf or comes up that way. And distance, not an issue. I did not have a chance to watch replays. I don't know what kind of, if she's got more tactical, or he's got more tactical speed. Hold on, have a beverage. I'm guessing I just want to go with at least one of the Euros in the money here. And I think Line of War is the one I want. Paul, you're going with Farbridge. What a great ride by Jose Ortiz. You like him back again here.
Yeah, I mean, we know how well he ran at getting in trouble at Churchill, the race we were there. Came back, just got underway too late in the Pennine Ridge, in my opinion. And yes, a very good ride by Jose. Jose stays. He's my tepid choice in this race, in a race where you'll see in my Caveman Pick 5, when we talk about it, I am really spread out.
You can make the argument, if you're a replay watcher, if you're a trip handicapper, that the number 6 Web Slinger actually ran just as good, if not better, than Farbridge last time, Paul, which is sort of a reason why I'm trying to find other horses that didn't run at the Belmont Derby. Web Slinger closed very wide into a relatively slow pace and was making up ground, did hang a little late, but deservedly so because he made a wide move into a slow pace. He ran very well. I just don't know if he classes up at this level.
Yeah, I think a horse like this, Howard, and we've talked about it, even though he is a big closer, I think a little bit shorter is better. You get a little bit more punch to the close. The horse ran absolutely huge on Derby Day in the American Turf at 1 mile and 1/16. I think 1 mile and 1/8 is the sweet spot, but he will be a horse I use on the board underneath.
Yeah, I'm using him as well underneath. A few people mentioned Aspen Grove. I don't like
Yeah.
Aspen Grove. She looks slow. I know they pointed this spot instead of the Oaks. I think that's a mistake personally, but we'll see how Aspen Grove does. I don't think she's fast enough, just plain and simple. But any quick thoughts on that one before we move on, Paul?
Well, I mean, it's an aggressive spot, but I have seen a bunch of these Euros, and I don't know which one's which, but I've seen the Euros on track over on the Oklahoma side the last few mornings, and as usual, they all look in very good shape. Again, in an ABC format, do you want to get beat by a Euro in a turf race over here? Probably not.
Probably not. All right, let's move on, Paul. Here's the big one, and if we don't have as much time to talk about the last two allowance races, Paul, I'm totally cool with that. You and I have a hard out here in about 12 minutes here at the most, so let's move along. The Whitney, you should do most of the talking here. Everyone knows this story. This is one of the highlight races of the year, along with the Travers, the top two races in Saratoga. A lot of people are saying this is the top race, even better than the Travers because of the CODY'S WISH story. It's a small field. It's a pretty good field, I would say, Paul, considering the state of the older handicap division right now. CODY'S WISH, the 6 is 1-2. If you're a fan of CODY'S WISH, which of course most of us are, especially you've got to love the outside post. I think there's enough speed. I don't even know if he needs a lot of early speed to set up for him anyway. Tell us everything you know within a few minutes here, Paul, about what the connections have said this week and your thoughts about CODY'S WISH, who's the obvious horse to beat in the Whitney.
Well, I went to the draw yesterday, and Bill Mott's very, very honest. When they ask him about stretching him out, he just says, "We don't know. We'll find out Saturday." He did run 1.8 miles in his second career race it was. So the Harvey Pack theory is out of play here. Don't bet a favorite to do something for the first time. Much different horse. You'll note in that 1.8 miles race, he was on the pace. He's obviously become a horse that runs from really off the pace, off the pace. Someone's going to look at the mile and say, well, geez, Paul, what are you talking about? He's first at the second call. He was 8th after 4 furlongs and first after 6 furlongs, which is an incomprehensible move. Okay. The reason, Howard, the only insight I'll give you, the reason why I was hoping he got the outside is not necessarily because of the geography and where the post position is, because he'll be the last one in the gate. And he can be a bad actor in the gate. He was a very bad actor in the forego. He was a bad actor in the dirt mile. He was better at Churchill because he was in sooner. The longer he's in there, he just wants to get going. He's a very kind horse, but he's just one of those horses, and he's huge, by the way. So there's not a lot of room in that 2.5 foot enclosure. So I like the outside simply because he won't have to be in there too long. We'll know a little more tomorrow. I'm going to spend some time at the barn tomorrow. But look, if you're trying to beat him, your argument is all those races are at 1 mile and all of one turn except the Tampa race and the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile at Churchill. Okay. Keeneland, pardon me, at Keeneland. I think the way he is in form right now, I don't think the extra 8th is going to be an obstacle. I would hope Junior just rides him, gallops him to the first turn, just like he's on a real hard gallop, and then start running like it's a 1-turn mile again. So, we'll see. Hey, if you want to be the favorite, this is the place to do it. I hope he's not beaten. I'd love to see him win. This is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. And you talked about the field. White Barrio's a decent horse. Charge It is a good horse. Zandon shows up every time. The good news, Howard, is that Charge It has speed. And when Dale Roman saw the short field, he decided to put Giant Game in. And Giant Game, you got to think, is going to show speed as well. So I think there'll be enough speed.
Paul, as a fan of CODY'S WISH, do you want, and Alvaro's got to read it, but with the extra distance, do you think Alvaro is likely to move a little bit later to save something, or maybe move earlier and just rip the heart out of everyone and try to take the lead, for example, at the top of the stretch, as opposed to making a move in the stretch. Any thoughts on those two possibilities?
Yeah, I think, and Bill talked about this at the draw yesterday. This is the type of horse where you just let him decide when he wants to go.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I don't think you overcomplicate it. And I don't think he necessarily has to take the lead any earlier. You don't want to let a horse like Charge It lose touch with the field, obviously. But I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll see tomorrow, 5:42.
Yeah. Charge It doesn't handle tight turns real well. I'm interested to see how he runs. I think he could run great or actually poorly. It's going to be interesting. Very quick, we have the same picks here, Paul, and then we're going to move on. I watched the Met Mile about 5 times the last few days. Zandon was ready to make a move, and CODY'S Wish sort of beat him to the punch on the outside, and Zandon had to steady and wait a little bit and let CODY'S Wish go by and then come around. He was not beating CODY'S Wish. I get it. It seems like Chad's having trouble, Paul, figuring out what distance to go with Zandon. I actually think he is better going 2 turns. I know he's run well at a mile. My just gut feeling tells me he's better at a 1.8 miles, and he's going to save ground if Cody stubs his foot, and I hope he doesn't. But if he does, I think for me, Zan is the one I want. I just don't trust Charge It at all, and I don't think White Abarrio is quite the level of Zandon, or just maybe I don't think White Abarrio really wants a 1.8 miles. Zandon is a very good, maybe even underrated horse. That's the one I want. I'm going to go a big exact of 6-1, a saver exact of 1-6, Paul, hoping that Zandon is not second choice and maybe Charge It takes a lot of Pletcher money and I can get a little better value. That's how I'm playing the Whitney. Or, the Whitney.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I picked Zandon second. I've been a big Zandon fan. I bet Zandon in the Derby last year. Thought I was a winner, and I wasn't a winner.
So did I.
Okay. Yeah, we'll move on, so to speak.
Yeah, let's move along, Paul. It's gonna be a great race, and the Dormans will be there. And I hope to, if I have an opportunity, Paul, not putting you on the spot on YouTube here, but hope I'll have a chance to say hello to the Dorman family once again. If not, that's totally okay also. So, all right. The last 2 races, Paul, let me switch here. And we're going to do this very quickly, everyone. Then we're going to bring on Jim Miller, is in the bullpen waiting. Jim Miller from Hawthorne Racecourse will be here briefly to talk about some exciting stuff going on at Hawthorne Racecourse. Again, if you're watching live, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Yes, this is our flagship show early in the morning here at Saratoga Springs with yours truly and the wonderful Paul Halloran. Obviously, we can't do a night show tonight. We've got plans and things going on here as we are in Saratoga Springs. 2 allowance races at the end of the card. You see our picks at the bottom. Race 11 is a nice 7 furlong N1X. It's one of those really tough races that you see at Saratoga every year, Paul, with N1Xs. We are both going with the favorite, the number 7, Ever So Mischievous. Maybe related to Pretty Mischievous. I didn't actually look at the breeding. But anyway, Ever So Mischievous, 2-1. Blinkers on. Cox is bringing this horse in from Kentucky, which automatically means to me there's intent. He's very good. He's tactical. He has a bullet work over the track. I think he's a likely winner if he gets his trip.
I agree. Yeah, I thought when I first looked at this race, I said, gee, this could be a tough race. And then when I got to him and looked into him a little bit, I think he gets the right trip. And 90, 91, 91 right out of the chute. Yes, Cox, Howard has no horses in on today's card at Saratoga. Just a total non sequitur. But Brad obviously does well. He's putting the blinkers on this horse, coming off a bullet work on the Oklahoma. It looks Tyler is on fire. It looks like an all systems go type of horse to me.
Yeah, I think he's tough. I've got the 5 second. Frat Pack is for Chad. I don't like the fact that he's broke his maiden on a sloppy racetrack, because Paul, sloppy racetracks see a lot of weird stuff happens. However, this horse costs $410,000. Brad Pack, the number 5. Peter Brandt. This horse is very well meant, Paul, and he might be the good. So I'm very interested to see what Frat Pack does. You actually don't have that horse in the money. But at 9-2 for Peter Brandt, the 5, Frat Pack is a horse I'm going to be watching, if not Saturday, but at least going forward for sure.
Yeah, it just both races were on sloppy tracks. That's the thing that got me. You just don't know. Not only the maiden breaker, but the one before. I mean, you obviously assume he can run on dirt. But yeah, again, and I don't have him on my top 3, but in either a caveman or an ABC, I'm pretty sure I have him on my caveman when we take a look at it. And certainly
did you see who Frat Pack lost to in his debut, Paul?
Up to the Mark, who's running fairly well on turf right now.
Pretty good.
As in the best American turf rooter, yes.
Any other final thoughts before we go to the last race, Paul?
I think the 3 Brew Pub, the New York bred, has a chance to hit the board here, which I don't have the morning lines. I think you do. It should be I'm assuming will be a decent price. Lost to a good horse named Barisi, who was well bet in the Wood last year, not this year, and didn't run well, but came back to run a big race in that Belmont allowance. So I think, and the fact that was with Open Company, I'm using the 3 as my kind of underneath reverse key horse. Yeah.
Brew Pub is 8-1. The last thing, Signator, the number 2, 6-1, $1.7 million buy, coming off a layoff for Shug. Watch for the 2 Signator. I don't know how good he's going to be on Saturday, but this is a late blooming 3-year-old by our good friend Tappet, who I think could be very, very good eventually, if not Saturday, the number 2 Signator. Let's move on to the last race, Paul. And you know what? Because we have Jim waiting, and I want to make sure we stay timely here this morning, because you know I got to leave a little bit to pick up a Kyle Roscoe from the airport. So
that's fair.
We can't have him waiting. Let's just go right to the last race here. Let me go ahead and switch some banners here. There are my picks. I'm going 1-12-10. Paul's going 7-12-1. It's a race scheduled for the turf, mile to 16th allowance. I have a very strong opinion. I'll let you first talk about the 7 to close out what's going to be an unbelievable Whitney Day, Paul.
Yeah, well, I mean, in fairness, I picked the 7 because I own a very small piece of them. And I will say this, though. I will say, yeah, I don't really, he did run very well last time. This was a horse that started out with Brad Cox, went to Linden for a race. They thought he was a dirt horse, but certainly turned out to be a turf horse. And Mike Piazza from Zilla moved him to Diodoro because there's no New York turf racing in the winter. And Diodoro runs in the Midwest. So you'll see the 3 starts at Sam Houston, where he ran very well. Obviously, much cheaper company than this, but it's 2 seconds and a first. Came back on Memorial Day weekend, ran a very, very good race in starter allowance at Belmont. And last time, I think, ran even better in that second. So this is a salty race. I have no delusions of grandeur, but I'm going to go with the home team, and hopefully the race stays on the turf. I doubt he would run if it does not stay on the turf.
Okay. And the horse he lost to at Praise is actually running tomorrow on Friday, I believe. So you can check out the form lines. The number 12, I think it's pronounced Buoys. I'm not sure if that's right. Is interesting for Oisin Murphy staying with the mountain the last race of the day for Brendan Walsh. The horse I want to mention, Paul, the number 1, Shutters, who's 3-1 morning line. So this is not some kind of cute 15-1. Got the most ridiculous ride and trip you're ever going to see last time. I don't really blame Johnny V. It just didn't work out. This horse had a ton of run on the inside, got totally sawed off. It was ridiculous. He also did not break well. The 1 had a serious bad trip last time. I love the 1 in the last race on Saturday, assuming it stays on turf. He's got to get the right trip. He doesn't like tower over the field. Just based on his last race and general improvement, I really like Shutters. Let's give everyone our pick 5 very quickly, Paul. I'm going to run it down. Then we'll bring on Jim Miller. Your pick 5 for Saturday, 4, 5, 6, 9. I'm sorry, that's not correct. There we go. That should be the correct one. Sorry, Paul. 1, 8 with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 6 with 1, 4, 5, 7 with 1, 4, 7, 12. you turn into a pick 4 like most people probably will. Will you have anyone underneath in an ABC with Cody, or is this just a flat A? I'm not wasting any money on C's at all with Cody.
No, I might throw in a couple of C's, depending on the prices of my A's and the other legs of the anticipated prices. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out throwing in a few C's.
Okay.
I'm thin. I'm too deep. I bet against Maple Leaf Mel last. I love Maple Leaf Mel. I bet against her last time because I thought Red Carpet Ready was. I think it was Red Carpet Ready in the victory ride, who did not run well at all. She's the real deal. I believe that if Pretty Mischievous doesn't win, it is going to hurt. I'll have your Darth Vader as a solid B because I think she has a good shot. And single Cody, and then as I said, spread in the other three, and could spread even more. But I'm on a budget here.
Yeah, it can be a little pricier in Saratoga. The dinners do add up. Although I have to say, in all fairness to the entire world, that I'm being taken care of very well by my housemates this week with dinner.
Oh, you're on scholarship.
Let me go with my pick 5 here very quickly. My pick 5 for Saturday: 168 with 24568 with 16 with 257 with 112. It's a $90 ticket. Very full disclosure, we've talked about this 1,000 times. I would never, ever, ever use Zandon and Cody's Wish equally in my own pick 5. You see it on the screen because we just give out cavemen pick 5s on the show. Clearly, Cody's Wish is more likely than Zandon. I'm going to use Zandon maybe as a B and probably charge it as a C, and that's about it. My only hesitation, Paul, we don't know about the mile and eighth. Again, Cody's awesome. This is the spot you're supposed to try to beat him, but I love the story and I love the horse, and it's hard for me to do that.
Howard, don't forget the stat that is not in the racing form, Howard. You know what that one is.
Yes. Here's
6 for 6. 6 for 6.
6 for 6 with Cody Dorman in the house. So anyway, there's my ticket, Paul. I'm going skinny on the end. I really like the 1 and the Euro, the 12. Paul, let's bring on Jim Miller right now. I know he can hear me, and I didn't preface Jim. Maybe he's got a Whitney idea because I have a specific question for him on the Whitney. I don't know if he's handicapped yet, but let's bring in the wonderful, got to bring up the banner, director of racing from Hawthorne Racecourse, Jim Miller. Jim, good morning. Thanks for waking up early to join us.
Yeah, guys, getting ready to head to the track for Thursday racing at Hawthorne. So that's a good thing, and weather's nice. Whitney ideas, I mean, how deep do you really have to go? It's a one-horse race, isn't it?
Well, here's my question, real quick, Jim, and then we'll let Paul go. Forget about the Whitney specifically. Any race where you've got a big favorite and it's a small field, is this a race that you just plan on watching? Or if you're one of those, not you, but if you're a degenerate out there, how do you make money in this race? Do you try to beat Cody, or you just slam an exacta? I mean, what would you do?
So there's two different ways to play. Okay, you either turn a sequence like that, a pick 5 into a pick 4, and you just single the horse who is the most likely winner. If you don't want to spread too deep in something like that, then you just watch the race as a fan and try to learn going forward, because you're going to learn a lot out of this race. Okay, are there any distance limitations? Is this the head of the class, which I believe Cody's Wish is? And what's that mean going forward, especially towards like the Breeders' Cup and Breeders' Cup Classic? Or if you think the distance limitations are here, this is the time where you go after it. But to me, if you are going to make the move to try to defeat Cody's Wish, you have to be ready to put in what is a pretty sizable ticket, because you don't want to try to defeat this horse and then miss on the other horses in the ticket. So that may mean a couple of your other questionable horses, some of those C horses, horses along those lines, you may have to include in. So that ticket that's $80 kind of starts building towards, say, 200, 240, things along those lines. So for me, if I'm playing it, I think Cody's Wish is the best horse. I single there. To me, that's the free spot, and then I work around it and make it a more reasonably sized ticket, only because you know you're going to have that heavy favorite on there. So the ticket won't come back huge, most likely. So those are the ways I'd play it. You either single, small ticket, or try to defeat the horse, and it's a pretty bigger expense that you're putting forward.
I like it. And I'm looking at a backyard, and I swear I just saw a black cat walk across, which means it's time to get Paul off the show, because those are the racing
wow.
telling me we got nothing wrong with Paul. That means I got to move on with the show. So I swear that just happened. That cracks me up. Paul, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday, Paul. It's going to be great.
Thanks, Howard. Howard, call me when you're on the road.
Will do. Thanks, Paul.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. See you, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Paul.
All right. I think I just cut him off. So Jim, some slight bad news, and I apologize. I already talked about this at the beginning of the show. Because I'm on my iPad and technology, I'm not going to be able to show PPs or the Equibase entries.
No worries.
I have banners. I have your banners. We have your picks. Again, we're here with Jim Miller. Don't go anywhere, folks. Great racing on Sunday at Hawthorne as usual, plus a monster high five carryover that Jim's going to talk about. We're going to very quickly, Jim, like rapid fire, go through the late pick 4. This is Sunday. Again, Sunday at Hawthorne, starting race 4. We're going to go through the late pick 4. It's on the bottom of the screen. Again, everyone listen carefully, take some notes, or if you watch this as a replay, take out that pen and paper and you can jot some things down. Again, we're not going to be showing any Equibase entries or PPs. Jim, in the first race of race 4 Sunday, you're going 6-2-1.
Yeah, this is an incredibly tough sequence, Howard, because there's so many evenly matched fields where you have vulnerable favorites. So first leg of this pick 4 is 5.5 furlongs on the turf course, 15 claimers, non-winners of 2, a lot of clash droppers in this race. And if we get some rain, this is a race that has the potential to come off the turf, but a lot of these horses are dirt horses too. The 6-horse Magnum Massa is the one that you have to key around. Comes from the barn of trainer Heather Iron, who very few know about Heather on the Illinois circuit. She rode for some time, actually sent horses to Gulfstream in the winter and has come back. But Magnum Massa has faced so much tougher company, facing allowance runners and tough allowance runners and holding its own. So this is a much easier race for her. She's the horse to work around. The other 2 horses to look at, the 2 Sunset Painter, who needs to be on the turf. So check that out for Sunday. Then the 1 Move It Baby, a horse from the Ravelli barn, going to take some money. But Magnum Massa at 5-1 in the morning line is the horse you work around for sure in race number 4.
Race 5, you're going again. I apologize. I don't even know the distance.
No worries.
I'm not very with you today. Race 5, you're going 6-4-1, Jim.
Illinois bred made an allowance company here in race 5. So 3/4 of a mile race with this field of 7. There's a lot of horses that have run against horses that haven't been great. So you look to the new shooter, and there's a horse I really like in here. And when I say new shooter, it's the first start of the year. The 6 Sawyer Fox comes from the barn of Wayne Catalano. 4-1 in the morning line. This horse has only made 1 start on its career, Howard, and Wayne thought enough to try the horse against Stakes Company in its debut last December. Chased the pace there early on and then did give way. Well, now it's been time to kind of come around a little bit, mature a little bit, but all of a sudden it's bullet work at Keeneland at 46-3. Another bullet work at Keeneland in 1:03. So when you're tossing bullets at Keeneland, you know you're tossing bullets with horses that are other very good race horses on the track. I think this is a solid single, and I think it's a horse you may get a little bit of a price on in race number 5.
And you know I've got mad love for Wayne Catalano because he almost, I've let it go, Jim, but spicy Italian a few weeks ago.
Huge.
Ran
huge.
Anyway, we love Wayne. Race 6, 7, 5 are Jim's pick in the penultimate race of the pick 4.
Ridiculously tough $40,000 optional claiming allowance race here. So this is a really good sequence, Howard, too, for the late pick 4. Mile 70 yards. What you get is a mix of horses that have been racing against starter company and running huge numbers. Horses like the 2 Moment, the 7 Gun Rush, the 5 Jeff the Lion. They can all be in the mix. The 6 Soul Coaxing comes from the barn of trainer Hugh Robertson. This is a horse that's faced this optional 40 company. Ran a good race in that last out. Should stalk the pace. The pace is going to be very fast in here. But you'll see, too, when we get to my ticket, I thought this was an extremely tough race. Anybody has a shot in the race, but it is. It's a really good field for race number 6.
Fantastic. And I know you're one to spread in that race. We'll talk about why in just a second. The last race of the day, and this you can talk about the high 5 right now, probably also. Race 7, scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Jim is going 5, 6, 8. A very, very important race. Closing out the pick 4 and a monster carryover that all of you should get involved with at Hawthorne on Sunday.
Yeah, about 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Howard, jackpot high 5 is no longer a jackpot. It's a mandatory payout on Sunday. Carryover just over $185,000. So I'm expecting between $300,000 and $500,000 additional probably gets put into this pool. And here's the thing about it. You're going to have a heavy favorite in this race in the 6, Simple Logic. Simple Logic If you remember back to the Horse Players Invitational, this was the horse that got defeated by Command Central at 80-1 and cashed that huge payday for Eddie Olczyk. He got $64,000 back for the contest, so it was huge. So Simple Logic is always going to be there, but you can defeat the horse, and that's the thing. The races are always close. The finish hasn't been what you want to see. You're looking at 3 consecutive runner-up efforts. For me, I went to the 5. That's McMoney. This one from the barn of Cheryl Weinbaugh. Ran in a race at Horseshoe Indianapolis that actually came off the turf in that last out. That was a good victory there, but the horse has a little bit of turf form. I think has a back class advantage over some of the others in this field because this was a horse I was racing during the championship meet at Gulfstream Park as well. The course may have a little bit of give to it too because we're expecting some rain on Sunday. So we'll see what kind of trip McMoney gets, but I think there's going to be a lot of pace that kind of falls apart. McMoney at 6-1. If you can key this horse on top in your high 5 and then maybe go to Simple Logic underneath, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have those horses. I'll have McMoney on top, Simple Logic second, and then spread with the remaining 8 in that field, try to hit that sequence, and it would be a really nice return.
Jim, I'm just going complete off memory because I can remember golf courses and horses, people's names. I can't remember someone I met yesterday. Simple Logic, I believe, finished second the day I was there with you and got upset last time on the dirt, right, by like a 10-1 shot.
Yep.
And didn't look great. I don't even need to see the PPs to know I would be against Simple Logic on top for sure in that last race.
And the horse has been a heavy favorite each of the last 4 starts, 1-2,
Yes.
6-5, even money, 3-5. You have a chance to cash huge here. This is a horse that, of course, you have to use, but it's a horse that you can try to defeat, especially for the high 5, too.
Jim already touched on his pick 4 ticket indirectly because he said he loves the Catalano 6 in race 5. He said race 6 is wide open, and he's a man of his word. Jim's pick 4 on Sunday is 1, 2, 5, 6 with 6 with 5, 6, 8. I know it probably doesn't need a lot of explanation, but we got a minute here, Jim. Just your thoughts on your ticket construction again.
It's such a hard sequence, and I'm not a huge fan of all, but sometimes you have to do it. This is a race where you could almost go all in race 4 and race 6. That's how evenly matched the fields are. I went 4 deep in race 4 with the logical horses, but again, if you get a horse like Magnum Massa on top at $12 to start the sequence, you're going to be in really good shape. The Catalano horse in race 5, that's the 6-horse Sawyer Fox. It's based off the works and maturity more than anything. Single there. Race number 6, so good, Howard. Anybody can win the race. I don't think there's going to be a heavy favorite. So because of that, if you have a 3-1 favorite and you're looking at a 15-1 longest price, just get somewhere in between and you're going to have a nice return. But even an $8 winner would be okay. And then the horses in the last leg, again, using the 5, 6, and 8. So the 5's McMoney, 6 is Simple Logic. The 8 is out of deductions. That's another Chris Block horse who was actually favored in the Hawthorne Derby on the turf. Lost to Act a Fool, a horse from the barn of Larry Ravelli. But this horse had all sorts of trouble in there. A much cleaner trip, puts the horse in the mix, but I think they'll be dismissed because the speed figure wasn't huge in that spot. But you get by the single there, I think we're going to be in really good shape.
It's exciting. Jim, the super high 5, I don't play that very often anywhere really. However, what I personally recommend is what Jim said. I would recommend anyone out there, you don't have to single someone on top. I like to take one horse and single them in every spot. It doesn't have to be a favorite, whoever it might be. I have a handicap. That will really lower your ticket cost. It can be expensive. So I'd recommend everyone out there, pick one horse you really like. Key that horse in every spot of the super high 5. Probably go thinner on the front in your, whoever you like in first. I mean, you can't have 6 horses in first. I tend to play like sort of a ladder, like a step ladder kind of ticket where I use more horses in the lower spots. That's personally what I like to do because I think it's hard to figure out who's going to finish 5th than who's going to finish first. That's my logic. It's a great super high 5. When do the races start today, Thursday, for people that want to play Hawthorne?
Yeah, so one thing on the high 5, it's a 20-cent minimum bet too, so it does give you the ability to spread as well. Races start today at 2:30 p.m. here in the Chicagoland area, so we have a fast track, we have a firm turf. It's another nice card today. You stagger with the East Coast tracks early in the day, you stagger with Del Mar late in the day, and then you just kind of work out your spot, but it's been working pretty well for us throughout the course of the meet.
Here's what everyone needs to do in Chicago if you're a fan of this show, or even Jim Miller or Hawthorne. Gem Mint 10 is running in race 5 at Saratoga, Jim. I believe it's right before Hawthorne starts. I think it's going to be around 2:20 your time. I'll have to take a look. Gentleman 10 is a horse that yours truly has a small piece of with Adelphi Racing. I don't know if you saw or heard. Had the opportunity to get my first winner in person in the winner's circle on Sunday. Going to try to double up on this trip. Gentleman 10, Jim, 6-1 morning line. And I'm not just saying this because I have a small piece. He's interesting. There's not a lot of speed in that race. Throw a few shekels on Gentleman 10, race 5 at Saratoga. Take that money and carry it over to Hawthorne. Jim, any final thoughts for Hawthorne Sunday or anything else you got?
You know what? Best of luck. I owned horses for 12 years. There's no rush like seeing a horse run down the stretch that you own, even if it's the smallest part of. So best of luck to you, and especially out there at Saratoga. That's going to be awesome.
Thanks a lot, Jim. We'll just keep you on here as we end the show. We've had a great show. Again, apologize for the little technology. Everything was fine. We just couldn't show as much. We have Saratoga today. We still have Saratoga today, tomorrow morning, Friday, and Saturday morning as well. We do not have it Sunday morning. Everyone's going to be traveling and flying back home. But we have Saratoga today, Friday morning, Saturday morning. And then, Jim, as people are watching, or people at home for for Hawthorne, there's no Hawthorne on Saturday. So check out our YouTube channel. We're going to be live, Jim, Saturday afternoon from the first turn, literally on the first turn of Saratoga for about an hour. Check our YouTube channel on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. For Paul Halloran, Jim Miller, and if you're wondering where Pete Visco is, he is traveling, folks. So Pete Visco will be with us this weekend as well. This has been your host, Howard Kravitz, episode, I think, 280 or 281. I don't even know. Of the HHH Racing Podcast. Crush your bets at Saratoga Saturday on Hawthorne on Sunday. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.